Hi there, my name is Sam.
And my name is Jonathan.
Our biome is the kelp forest, and in this documentary, we will focus on the biodiversity found in kelp forests.
Kelp forests are most commonly found off the eastern Pacific coast of Alaska and California. They grow in water temperatures between 5 and 20 degrees Celsius.
Kelp forests also need to grow in clear water to allow sunlight to penetrate the surface and reach the ocean floor, where kelp life begins.
So what is kelp, you may ask? Kelp is a type of brown algae that can grow from 2 to 30 meters long. While kelp may look like giant underwater trees, they don't have any roots. Instead, it has holdfasts, which are stalked organs mainly used by algae that attach to rock substrates on the ocean floor.
These holdfasts don't absorb nutrients, but otherwise function like roots. Kelp also has gas bladders that help keep them afloat in shallow waters, where photosynthesis can take place.
There are two types of kelp. The first is the giant kelp, which is a perennial that lives for several years. It has one gas bladder per blade, which contributes to its massive size. Giant kelp is most abundant on the northern Pacific coast near the Alaskan shoreline.
The other type of kelp is bull kelp. This kelp is an annual, meaning it has a 1-year lifespan and has one gas bladder total. Bull kelp is most dominant and abundant off the southern coast of California, but can also grow wherever giant kelp grows.
The soil within the kelp forest is a mix of sand, shells, coral, and waste at the ocean floor, produced by the organisms within the ecosystem.
Next, let's assess the biodiversity found in kelp forests.
Kelp forests are home to many types of organisms due to its length in the ocean, which can provide multiple levels of living space.
Some of these organisms include the southern sea otters, which are on the endangered species list, snails, purple sea urchins, seals or sea lions, lobsters, and many more.
Kelp forests are able to maintain biodiversity through its extensive food web. For example, sea urchins eat enormous amounts of kelp, but they do not devastate the kelp population because they are preyed upon by sea otters.
Because kelp grows very fast, sometimes at a rate of 30 centimeters per day, it can create large canopies from its blades. These blades can provide protection from predators and shield them from fast currents or storms.
In addition, when kelp dies and falls to the ocean floor, it is either recycled by decomposers such as crabs, worms, and snails, or is taken by currents to adjacent ecosystems where it is used for food by other organisms.
The kelp forest provides many benefits for its inhabitants. Some of these benefits are due to its physical presence, which include providing shade for smaller organisms and controlled water flow.
While the kelp forest helps the survival rate of many organisms, it also harms the abundance of some. One of these organisms is understory algae, whose demise benefits the survival rate of sponges and sea squirts.
But overall, the kelp forest's unique structure and food web has created it to be one of the most biodiverse ecosystems in the ocean.
Lastly, we will examine a few factors that affect the biodiversity.
One of the primary factors that affects biodiversity of the kelp forest is severe weathering patterns or global warming. The best example of this occurring in the world is when El Niño hit the Pacific coast in 1998. The storm caused increased water temperatures and massive rip currents, which practically destroyed the entire kelp forest ecosystem. Fortunately, it was not completely destroyed, and able to grow back in a speedy manner.
Another factor that affects the kelp forest is overharvesting. Destructive fishing practices and accidental damage caused by boating has weakened the biodiversity of kelp forests by taking out species that play an important role in the ecosystem. Forms of conservation have already been implemented, like area-based management, which designates specific kelp locations which are protected from human overuse.
Lastly, pollution and sewage dumping into the ocean has caused a major decrease in water quality in the kelp forests, which pushes the organisms to leave the ecosystem. Additionally, the garbage or sewage gathers at the surface of the ocean, blocking sunlight from reaching the ocean floor, which is detrimental to kelp sustainability.
So how will these factors affect the kelp forest in the future?
We will see soon enough.
The
End.